You can literally see it in his list. Yeah. So
I've done dirty things to that man on the tabletop,
Yeah.
clearly, to
oh,
make him changes.
on the tabletop.
Yeah,
What
just on the tabletop. To
the
keep it PG for our viewers, right? Listeners.
hell? Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 51 of the Gollum's Gamers podcast, where today we're back with another GBHL 100 preview episode. It's actually been almost 2 months since our last one of these, so it's been a while. But today we are going to be previewing the Great Battle of our time, otherwise known as GBOOT, which is a 820-point event being held in London this weekend. We did review this one or preview this one last year as well. Unfortunately, we are not joined tonight by the TO Curtis, who did join us last year. He is very busy and he couldn't make it, but hopefully next year. But tonight, I am joined by Jay, Adam, Sam, and Ben for the Spotify listener. And as always, you can find us on Instagram and Spotify by following the links in the description down below. But before we do get underway tonight with our normal preview stuff, I wanted to mention, in case any of you missed our previous video, that next weekend on Saturday the 5th and Sunday the 6th of October, I'm going to be live streaming the Lord of the Imps, which is a GBHL 100 event. It's going to be, the whole weekend long of, tournament SPG. So if you want more information kind of on the live stream and what it's all about, I will leave the link to the previous video in the description where I cover it in more detail. So with all that said, and getting back to GBOOT, let's get into some statistics for the event. Okay, so kicking things off with the faction statistics in the top spot here. No surprises for a GBHL 100. We have Mordor in the top spot with 10 appearances. So we've seen that one before. And then in second place, unsurprisingly, 8 appearances, we have Serpent Horde. From there, with 7 appearances, we have Minas Tirith rounding off the top 3. Obviously, a number of other armies as well. So, any initial takeaways from anyone there? Wolfpack of Angmar making its first appearance in a GBHL 100 preview at 820 points. That's a little bit sus.
That's pretty impressive to get that ready for this weekend already. 820 points. That's a lot of wolves.
I'm assuming there's a lot of chieftains in there.
It's got to be.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, is there no Spider Queen on my blind?
It's
Oh, no,
Dark
there is.
Denizens.
4.
Well, Denizens, sorry, I call it on there. Denizens of Mirkwood.
I thought there'd be more than that, if I'm honest, with the scenarios.
At 8, yeah, and at 820, you've got a little bit more flexibility compared to 800. I mean, 4's not none, but
I think mainly because there's out of the 6 games, 4 of the scenarios are confirmed, and then 2 are not. They're kind of within custom pools that they'll roll for on the day.
I should have probably mentioned about that. That's where I'd usually hand over to Curtis to cover the event, as it were.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's
basically game one. Yeah. Game 1 is hold ground confirmed. Game 2 is the first of the custom pools that they'll just roll. Game 3 is fog of war. Game 4 is recon. And then 5 is the other custom pool, and then game 6 is destroy supplies. So
yeah, you get 2 random ones from the pools, 1 from each pool, and then 4 confirmed. So
yeah,
you do a fair amount of tailoring for this event.
So to me, recon and destroy supplies are very, very good for this for the Spider Queen.
Yeah.
And how many AoL is there? I can't.
4.
Yeah.
4, and they're strong in those scenarios, aren't they?
Probably worth mentioning as well, just while we're talking about the scenarios, is that the scoring for the event. So it isn't 3-1-0, is it? But it's something sort of like that. It's like 5-3 or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got it up. So basically, scoring is a little bit weird, but I don't mind it. So it is. So you'll be awarded 4 major TPs for a win, 2 points for a draw, and 0 points for a loss. However, a bonus point will be awarded for anyone who scores 6 or more victory points, regardless of the end result, whether you lost or won. A separate bonus point is available if your loss is within 3 points or less. So, 9-6, for example. It's within 3, so you'd get an extra point. And so it's a bit weird. So if you were to win 9 or lose 9-6,
Hmm.
you would actually score 2 major tournament points, which is the same as a draw.
Hmm.
Because a draw, obviously, you can't. Because it's a separate bonus point if your loss is within 3, it doesn't
Yeah.
count draw. So you can't get the extra TP if you draw there, and then you didn't score. I mean, unless you scored a high draw where you scored 6 VPs, like a 6-6 or
Yeah.
a 7-7, maybe
Yeah.
assassination or something, you can get 3. But draws are actually the same as a minor loss if as long as you get the 6
Yeah.
VPs, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. So it promotes you to push for the higher scoring, games to try and win big. But then
Yeah,
if you're losing, it promotes you to keep it close. So there are those sort of side things, going on to get the bonus TPs, but then there's still the core TPs available for winning and, losing. So the core structure remains there. And then they've got the additional part as well, which I like.
yeah. And then basically the tiebreaker is essentially the same as kind of like a strength of schedule from long shanks, where it depends on how well your opponents do. So
Yeah.
they're minor TPs, and these are the sum total of all the major tournament points that your opponents that you have faced have
Yeah.
scored at that stage of the tournament.
Yeah. So it's not just, VP diff or,
Yeah. So we'll see how that comes into play.
Yeah.
There'll be 2 major with the
Yeah.
other 2 bonus points being available, but we'll see.
So yeah, that's the scoring. So we think something like AoL is a standout in the scenarios, the ones that are confirmed, we think.
The scenarios are good for AoL, but I don't know if the points are necessarily the best for it.
I think it's strong. This AoL, as well as Spider Queen list, Serpent, Horde, and Mordor are always going to be strong. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised to see 8 of them.
No.
What else? Isengard
There's a
as
couple
well.
pure Easterlings in there, which is interesting. Haven't seen 2 of them in a while. Haven't seen
Maybe
1 in a while,
one.
but yeah, 2 Easterlings.
And Eliott, I presume the Serpent Horde, we don't know if they're allied in with Mordor or if they're just sole pure lists.
Would assume, though, if I was a betting man, that
Most of them are allied.
most of them probably are.
Yeah.
This is a sweaty UK GBHL 100 at the end of the day, isn't it? So
there's 3 hosts of the Witch Kings as well, so you potentially have even more than 9
cool.
or 10 Witch Kings, because
Maybe
you've got that
so.
Legion as well.
Yeah, indeed. All will be revealed. I like seeing the wolf pack there, and obviously, the host of the Witch King. We're seeing the new sort of legions come in. There's a battle of Fornost there as well, Fornost, which is cool.
I'll be intrigued to see how that does.
I almost took that. I'm painting Erna. Well, I'm about to start painting him for unnumbered tiers, but I almost pulled the trigger for this.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So but I think that's about it for the factions. Okay, so we will move on then to the leaders, the statistics for the leaders for the event. So as Ben Haslam predicted a moment ago, there are a grand total of 11 Witch Kings going to the event, to be expected at this point potentially. I don't think we've seen this many for a little while, but it's something we've certainly seen before. I think the max we've seen is like 30.
This is going to be what's going to happen when you drop host the Witch King, though, which basically gives you a free Crown of Morgul and fight 6 under certain circumstances, and you don't have to pay the points for it.
Yeah.
Some people like it. Yeah. So 11 appearances for the Witch King, and then in second place with only 5 appearances is Boromir from Minas Tirith. Then with 4 appearances we have Azog and Musga, and then obviously a number of other heroes. So anything else standing out here at all?
The Witch
Someone's
King's
brave, making Spider Queen the leader.
Yes, must be a pure.
Yeah.
Some lols going on there.
Witch King will be good for getting the points, because with the amount of magic, it'd be very easy to just black dart a leader.
Yeah.
To get leader points, and then you're halfway usually, or a third of the way towards getting those 6 VPs for that point.
Mm.
And there's 3 mummoks as well.
Wow, 3 mummoks, I guess, is actually quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw there was 4 Isenguards, which is what, 3 Lurts, 1 Saruman.
Yeah, there's a Saruman as well. Saruman White, yeah.
Could be
I
interesting.
think it's the first time in a while, though, we've had such a big gap between first and second.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I think so, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen quite this many Witch Kings in a while. there was kind of a period last year, I think, where there was kind of multiple tournaments in a row where it was like this, and it hasn't been quite as bad lately. But no, I'm not sure there's anything else here that's too irregular. There's some sort of odd ones you see, like Troll Chieftains and stuff from the Black Gate. Denethor in there. There's a Gua here as a leader. It's interesting.
Map of Sauron's a bit of an odd one.
I actually saw that list. Yeah. That's an interesting list. We almost put it on the preview, but it's not. That's mixed.
Big respect to the 2 army of Gothmogs out there.
Yeah.
Half my heart.
Yeah. So I think that will do it. Unless anyone has any other comments, there's loads of Witch Kings and some Boromirs in there. So, okay, well, let's start getting on some lists. Everyone's favorite parts of our preview, I assume. So we are going to take a look, first of all, at one of these meaty AoL lists. This is a 65 model AoL list for the Spotify listener. So it's led by Musgur, leading Warnock Warrior with Banner, 13 with Spear and a Bat Swarm. Then he has Drurzag leading 6 Goblins with Bow, 1 Bat Swarm and 3 Giant Spiders. Then he has a Goblin Captain and a Shaman leading identical warbands of 5 with Bow and 4 Prowlers. And then he has a Orc Captain on Warg leading 2 Orcs with Shield and 2 Warg Riders with Shield and Throwing Spear, and a Shaman, Orc Shaman, leading 8 Orc Warriors with Spear and 4 Trackers. So 65 models, 16 bows, but obviously he's got all the Prowlers there. There's 8 Prowlers? Yeah, 8 Prowlers and 10 Might. So what do we think on this one? AoL at 820 points.
I think for the 4 scenarios we know, which are Hold Ground, Fog of War, Recon, Destroy the Supplies, I'd argue it should and could win all 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the right hands.
Yeah, in the right hands, of course, yeah.
I have a feeling I know who's taking this.
Would you hazard a guess? I bet you've seen it already.
It looks like a farmer list, I would say, but it could be Bradford or Jakob.
I think it's the other person. I know Jakob's taking it. I'll just say it as that.
So the gentleman who's often wearing a cap.
Yes, he's the other one, isn't he?
He is often wearing a cap.
Yeah, I think this is a contender to win.
Yes, it's very strong. 65 models.
It's a lot of models, good in the scenarios. 3 spiders, probably enough. 2 bats, enough.
I'm a fan of the Orc Shaman as well, thrown in there. Often you don't see it.
There was another version of this from a player equally as good, I would say, that dropped one of the heroes. It might have been the Orc Shaman, but they had 66 models. So I thought I couldn't really spot it at a glance how this one had fit in the extra hero, but only gone down to 65 models. I think they had the same amount of spiders and bats. So, but yeah, one of them had 66, but dropped one of the smaller heroes. So,
is there a Marauder?
It was yes. The other list had 1 Marauder, so and they must have maneuvered.
I was going to say the Marauder would be really good for recon if you know you play them.
So that was what, the other person. Yeah, they had a Marauder.
Yeah, I think it's a big list that could probably win the event. 100% good.
Yeah, it's good in the scenario. So,
I can't wait to see this list die, like in the new edition, or hope it just doesn't, because I'm fed up of AoL.
Yeah, I wonder just sort of what stuff will be cut and in what capacity, because I mean they still sort of, the reason they put this Legion in is because it played a part, right? There was like a battle or something in the lore that they put into the Defense in the North book. So obviously the history is there and stuff, so they could port that over to the new book. I don't know. But yeah, okay, we'll leave it there for the AoL list, and we will move on to another list. These 2 lists are obviously not from us guys who are going to the event, but this is a pure Serpent Horde. Sorry, this is a Serpent Horde and Far Harad alliance, led by Soladam, who is on Armored Horse with Bow, which is quite interesting. He's leading 2 Harad Warriors with Bow and 4 Harad Raiders with Bow and War Spear, and then 5 Serpent Guard as well. Then he also has the Betrayer on horse, to be expected. And then from Far Harad, he has 2 identical warbands led by Mahud Kings on Camel with Blowpipe and War Spear, leading 8 Mahud Warriors with Poison Darts, and then another 7 with Darts and Spear. So it's 45 models. Only 7 bows, but obviously he's got a crap ton of the blowpipes and 9 might. So what do we think on this alliance?
I don't like this personally.
Person whose list this is will be very upset. Actually, no.
45 models feels really low with this.
What has he spent all the points on? I mean, I guess
What I
what? The Kings are 90 points.
I think they're 95 with everything, which
I don't think they have a shield. I think you can take a shield.
oh yeah, they don't. So 90, probably 90.
Fundamentally, the Betrayer is quite expensive.
Yeah, and then you got Suladan as well, so it adds up. Yeah.
There's no Cav in here apart from the heroes.
He's got the four Harad Raiders.
Oh yeah, they totally
Oh
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I saw Harad. I thought, oh, it's a guy on foot.
No.
Because it didn't say a Serpent Rider.
I really like the premise of this list, but much like Sam, you feel like if someone described the list to you, oh yeah, they've got Suladan, they've got Betrayer, they've got two Mahud Kings, they've got loads of blowpipes, you go, oh, yeah, they've probably got like over 50 models.
Yeah.
At 820
But they don't.
as well.
I think the line melts though.
Mahud Warriors are a little bit
scenario.
overpriced.
Yeah.
I think this will struggle with I mean, actually didn't really count how many Blood and Light there are. But AoL including. I just think this will just struggle. I don't know.
Will fall over.
If this read 56 models, which if I feel like it should, I would then be okay, it's classic. It's just classic, Serpent Horde, Harad
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
How many points are the Mahud Warriors with the blowpipe and spear?
They're 9, no, more than
9
that.
points.
Could be 10.
I think they're 10 with both, 9 with.
Damn. That is pricey.
10 with
Quite
everything.
expensive.
They get the fearless though, right? But that's only if they charge.
If the Mahud Kings are in combat.
Yeah, they're in combat, right?
Okay, if you think about this list in terms of scenarios, though, whole ground's not great for it. But I think Destroy the Supplies is excellent because you can kind of meander a little bit up the board, wait for them to hit you, then you've got 4 cav just to go around. You always do heroic combats with the Mahud King and do a bit of damage as well if you don't kill them when you impale them.
Yeah.
And then, there's a bit of play, isn't there? Then, of course, Recon's really good for this list, I think, because you can spread a reasonably thin line. You've got magic at the end of the day. Is it compel? It's a bad compel, but it's still compel. You've got a good banner. You've got having that banner behind these guys. Yes, they're only D5 fight 3, but 6-inch banner after shooting them. Bear in mind, you're re-rolling in combat as well. It is very killy.
10 points for a fight 3 model, though, is fucking crazy. That is pretty cooked.
I think the model count's just a little bit too low.
That's it, like you'd expect more models for
But then the question is, what would you drop to get more models in? I think 2 Kings is quite solid because of the hitting power. But you'd have to get rid of 1, I suppose, right? To get more troops.
You'd have to drop the troops a bit, which kind of changed the list. So if you dropped a load of Mahud Warriors, the back line, if you give loads of the Betrayer's Warband, if you put lots of Serpent Guard in there, then you're going to get a fight 4 line. And if you put them behind the Mahud Warriors with shield, then it's not that solid, but at least it's still a defense 5 line at the front, a fight 4 at the back.
Yeah, wins more fights, especially with the banner.
Yeah,
and they're cheaper as well.
Yeah, agreed.
Suladan as a leader is also going to be a little bit sus in the sense of, I mean, again, I assume there'll be quite a bit of magic, and whether it's a Sorcerer's Blast, like if someone just repeatedly Sorcerer's Blast Suladan, and he's a leader, it's doing damage to their leader, and then if you knock them prone, they don't get their banner.
Do you know anyone going to the event taking Sorcerer's Blast, Sam?
Not off the top of my head, no.
No, okay, all right.
No.
No worries.
You want your banner there. Like in Witch King Sully, he's great because you can target him, but you have many other threats. Or I mean, it does have 2 kings, but at least the fact you're leader, and if small VPs, you kind of, it may be the difference of winning small or big in the sense of it's quite easy to gain those VPs, I think.
Which then affects the TPs that you get. So
yeah.
I
think I'm intrigued to see how it does with the scenarios. I think a few of them are pretty decent. Fog, maybe.
I believe these are very beautifully painted models, so I'm sure this person will enjoy taking this list.
Ooh.
Either way.
Intriguing.
Yeah, so okay, we will leave it here for this list, and we will go to something a little bit more boring, which is my list. Dragon Emperor Legion. We've seen this one before. I thought I haven't taken the Dragon Emperor, I don't think, in 2024. So I thought before the new edition, let's bring it out one last time. So it is led by the Dragon Emperor, leading 17 Black Dragons with Pike and Shield and a Black Dragon Cataphract. Ratabi leading 3 Eastern Warriors with Shield and another 6 with Pike and Shield. Brorgear leading 2 Eastern Warriors with Bow. It really pains me that they're not Black Dragons. That's my trademark, but I don't have them. They're just regular Easterlings, so they will have to do. And then we have a Eastern Captain leading 9 with Shield, 2 with Pike and Shield, and a Cataphract with a Drum. So it's 45 models, 2 bows, and 10 might, with obviously the Master of Battle as well. What do you think on this configuration? Shout out to Ben Haslam for the assistance on this one. Let's go.
If Ben's written the list, then there's probably no faults to it, right?
Eliott's made some changes to Ben's list.
That's how all my list writing goes. What are you telling me for a list writer?
The odd number of models is
I know that's something I never do. That's something I never ever do, but I've done it. I figured at 8,
put an odd number in.
What's that?
Put an odd number. Have an odd number that you break.
Yeah, I just very rarely. Yeah.
So a few people have questioned me on this because most of mine are odd for Easterlings. But the way I see it is, even if it's an odd number, yes, you break points slightly, like not as optimal as it could be, but you could potentially have 3 extra dice in a fight with that one warrior with a shield, because he could shield and then have a banner, and 3 extra dice with a fight 4. That's fairly good. It's an extra model that could potentially go and hang at the back to claim an objective. So just having a few more models on the board actually helps this Legion.
Yeah, I don't think it's major.
And it doesn't often get broken.
Yeah.
So,
you have a board wide stand fast as well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's pretty good. It's Emperor, isn't it?
Yeah. I've dropped the shield on the captain because Brorgear kind of, I think recently kind of, people like taking more Dragon Knights and things, but obviously Brorgear is 80 points. So to keep the model count up, yeah, like you drop the shield on the captain. I usually take 3 Cataphracts, including the one with the drum, but I've only got 2. So for like recon, obviously I've only got the one to really go and throw himself off the board because obviously the drum's got to stick around. But I like taking the couple bows. Some people don't like doing that, but I like doing that. And obviously you've just got a big, huge block of Eastlings, 45 models. Obviously last year, this has an extra 30 points to play with. So it's even scarier, but it's still super, super strong. It's 1 GBHL hundreds since the nerf. So it's very strong.
Yeah,
how do we think it does in the scenarios? It's, it's really solid at all of them, right? Like most scenarios in the game, it's just really strong at.
Yeah, recon good, just supplies good. What's the other one?
Hog ground.
Good. Hog and whole ground.
Yeah, all of them are.
Fog's its weakest one.
Yeah, out of the 4. Yeah,
Fog's because they could target a captain and just magic the captain, or target Ratabi because Ratabi's probably going to have to be near the front. And it's quite easy to get Ratabi compelled out and then just ganked.
What game is Fog?
3.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you win your first 2 games, then you could have a pretty good matchup. Yeah,
it's good, solid.
Yeah.
You can't really complain about it too much, can you?
So I thought I'd bring it out for maybe the last time. We will see as when the new edition comes out, obviously. But okay, we will move on to a slightly more interesting list, which is of none other than Vince Wong, who is not here tonight. It is a shame because this list has been the topic of many discussions amongst the Gollum's gamers. So we're here tonight to preview it to the world. So who is the leader? I don't actually know. It has to be Dane, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. So Halls of Fandor and the Iron Hills and Wanderers in the Wild Alliance for the Spotify listener. So it is led by Dane on board, leading 14 Iron Hills with shield, 1 with crossbow and 1 with shield and banner. Then from Halls of Fandor, he has Leggy, of course, on horse, leading 9 Mirkwood Elves with glaive, 4 with bow and glaive, 1 Cav with shield and a Wood Elf Sentinel, and then Wanderers in the Wild. Of course, it's none other than Tom Bombadil. So 34 models, 7 bows, but obviously he's got leggy, and 6 might, but Tom can obviously give you might as well. So who wants to kick this one off? Who do I hand it to? This is such an interesting list.
He should claim at least 6 points in Fog of War with his protect and his kill. He's got all the tools for that one. So he's got.
I think we give this over to Sam to start us off.
Adam, you said you were gonna
sparks are about to fly, ladies and gents.
For Vince.
All right.
I want you to explain his reasonings.
I just wanted this conversation to end on a positive note, but okay, we'll start this way.
No, you can counter. You can counter. It's fine.
We'll be here for a while.
All right, so let's go through the scenarios again. We got whole ground.
Yeah.
We've got
Recon,
Fog of War, Recon, and Destroy Supplies.
Yeah.
The way Bombadil works, he actually completely. I'm going to assume there's some terrain on the board. All right. The way Bombadil works, he can literally block off 5 inches. Right? Because you cannot charge him. You cannot come within 1 inch of him. So if you have elves next to him, they have a control zone. So if you've got models touching him and he's in the middle, that's a 1 inch away from them, because if you engage those elves, you're within 1 inch of Bombadil. Okay. So actually, the way that works in Recon and Whole Ground, you can literally sort of stop people getting to places, which is really strong on a list where you've got Day 9 for arguably behaving a little bit like Thorin, who can actually hit, because he can get a serious amount of combats through the game. The longer the game lasts, the better this list gets. Over to you, Sam.
It's round 1.
Yeah. Vince has gone from such a high, going to Ripon, doing well with Gil-galad, coming third, and I wanted him to continue that barrage of winning 100s, or podiuming 100, sorry. And I don't think this list is, beyond dog shit to going 0-6, 1-5. However, this will not get him to his desired goal, podiuming.
His goals will not be achieved, is what you're saying.
And that's why I don't like it. Basically, 34 models.
Is that one Fog of War? Is that what you're giving him?
Fog of War, very good. I mean, it's hard to argue, realistically. I'll give you that. However, 34 models, when you don't have magic, although Tom Bombadil was pretty magical.
You've got magic.
Magical guy.
It's not enough. It's really not enough. People are going to go into this list and just strike with all their heroes and kill 2 dwarfs or do whatever, and you're going to lose. You're going to lose basically too many dwarfs too quickly. And sure, Dane can do whatever, but again, certain magic will be good against him.
If you play against magic, I mean, he's not really doing that much.
Well, the whole point is that Refreshing Song gets rid of magic that would affect him if you lose priority. However, again, Sorcerer's Blast is a pretty good spell against him, because you just knock him prone every time with another model. Then who cares if he
doesn't have that many models though to do that with. So
yeah,
there aren't many Sorcerer's Blasts. There's a lot of Witch Kings.
Yeah.
This list is so good against a Witch King, because if you go first, this list is just banish him.
But it's only 6. I think if anyone is keeping their Witch King within 6 inches of Tom Bombadil, they deserve to lose, realistically.
True. I mean, Bombadil doesn't have fly, nor does he have the ring. But apart from those 2 rules, he is pretty able to get about, just because of the way he moves, and people can't interact and getting near him. It means paths are kind of going to have to be a little bit. You're going to have to be really cautious playing against him.
All I remember was that the last time I played against Tom Bombadil, I just had a circle of models around him of like 6 guys where there wasn't a gap big enough to get through, and then he just couldn't move. I just had him in a pen of orcs.
Yeah. Like if he could walk through stuff, very cool, very good. But if you just had your line, there's no entrance. There's no way he gets through them. He charges the model, then they back up, and then you lose priority, then you circle him, then you charge the model, then he loses the will. It's just repeat, 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 and I think it's 160 points that could have been spent in a better way, personally.
I agree with Sam.
I don't think it's gonna. I like the idea. I like it because it's different. But again, like I said earlier, it's not gonna get Vince what he wants, which is what I think. Oh, why have you taken it? Kind of thing.
Has he taken a list like this before? Because I thought last year, didn't he write something similar? I remember this isn't his first, go round with Tom Bombadil.
It was only because of the Lord of the Spins he did it.
Oh, was that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay, that might be. So was that list?
He's consistently taken Isengard.
That must have been similar to this.
I think it was literally this list. Maybe
was it this? Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, we've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
So the Lord of the Spins was 800 points. So I think he's just added
okay.
one or two models, right?
So,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could just imagine people shooting his elves. Some of his elves dying on the way in to or shooting or whatever, and then he's got less models. He might have 32, even maybe 30 if it's gone bad, and then they're charging in and just even something they might not even charge against the fight 5. They might be charging against fight 4, strike, kill 2, then you're down to it can go really bad really quickly. I think.
Equally though, there's going to be a lot of people who they see this. Vince is going to give them a little bit of banter, and then they're just going to be like, "Daya, this is all about Tom Bombadil, isn't it?" And then actually, Legolas goes and does the business. Day 9 Foot ends up being unstoppable and also unkillable as a leader. Yeah, you can wound him, but it's really hard to kill him. So this list is denying a lot as well.
Yeah.
If Vinny plays those 3 Mummock players, he's really going to spoil their day because they're there to come and trample people. Obviously, they can't trample Bombadil, can they?
Yeah, that'd be pretty tough.
So he's going to really spoil their tournaments. But yeah.
Again, it's not horrible, but it's not. I assume Vince wants to win. That's why he's gone to the event. Unless he wants to just play it for fun, which I mean, he'll definitely achieve that.
He's finally giving our audience what they have been asking for, which is for someone to take a Lord of the Spins list.
Exactly.
100. Vince is doing it for the people, and I tip that.
Well, then I rate it.
Vince doesn't think this is going to be the best list there.
Oh, he's right.
He's taking this because he thinks it's a really good list, and it's going to be really fun, which I completely agree with.
Shout out, Vince.
I just can't see this winning Recon or Destroy the Supplies against any half-decent competitive army. That's the problem.
You might not be wrong.
The really fun part, I agree with. The really good part of this being a really good list, I'm hesitant on. But I respect it because it's different. It's not a Witch King Sally that you've taken to 9 other events previously kind of thing.
Not Dragon Emperor.
Yeah, so hard from Vince. It's hard. I would love to be proven wrong and Tom Bombadil do well at 100. That would be so hard. And then if we get banned even more for the rest of the year.
Well, hopefully Vince is the one to do it.
Yeah.
Fair play to Curtis allowing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he's going to be the last one to use it in a 100 before it goes into the legacies.
Maybe that's why he's taking it.
And he'll win it.
He's naming the history books.
Maybe so. Yeah. Okay. Well, we will leave it there for Vince's list, and we will move on to Jay's Isengard list. We've seen this one before a few times. But we have the man here himself to run through it for us. So would you mind taking us through it?
I mean, it's pretty much rinse and repeat, isn't it, for me at the moment? So what I've gone for is pure Isengard, which I've been taking this year quite a fair bit. So Lurtz is leader with a shield, which obviously isn't written here, but comes with a shield, a stack. 4 Uruks with crossbow, 8 Uruks with pike, 1 warrior with banner and pike, 1 Crebain, and an Urukai drummer. And that's a full warband of 15. Second warband, Rasku, and he's got a full warband of 12, which are 6 with crossbow, 6 with pike. And then Gorolf with 4 with crossbow and 8 with pike. And then finally 2 Isengard assault ballistas with no other upgrades to both of them. So totaling at 48 models, 25 dead for break, 12 for quarter, 16 bows, but obviously ballistas as well included, and 11
And
mites
rescue gets
total.
the extra shot. I
Double
didn't count
shots,
that.
correct.
I didn't count that, but yeah. And 11 might. Yeah. So Jay, you've used this so much. How does this list work? Explain for our viewers.
Well, you know what it was? I think when the new edition rules came out, well, not rules, the announcement, I was like, I'm not going to be able to use this again next year. So I thought, you know what? Let's just carry on using it for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah.
But I thought the points level was quite good for it. I think I've got quite a fair few number of models with enough tools to be able to whittle down opponents with either shooting or whatever. But it was more the scenarios. I thought it worked well with the 4 scenarios we got. Arguably, Fog's not the best, but I thought Recon, Destroy the Supplies, both of these will encourage me to shoot, which is quite good. Even the fact that Whole Grounds game 1, I thought was quite a good thing as well, because arguably anything Maelstrom was probably my worst scenario because of the ballistas.
Yeah.
But I thought the fact that's game 1 hopefully means I might get away with it. I might get the worst scenario out of the way to begin with. And that was pretty much my thinking. And then obviously the 2 random pools where we don't know what we're going to get. Whatever happens, right?
Yeah, you've got the drummer as well, which obviously
I have got the drummer, yeah.
Fit in, but the fact that you've still got the 48 models with a drummer is pretty nice. Obviously, Gorolf, is he the only model that isn't affected by it? I think
correct. Yeah,
correct. But yeah,
and the Crane, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact you've got the drum in there, you've still got the really high model count, and like 16 crossbows or 17 really with. Oh, well, no, it'd be 16 because Let's has a bow. But yeah, with the 2 ballistas as well, that is an oppressive amount of shooting at strength 4.
No bomb, question mark?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I just thought the scenarios are better off with more shooting. I just didn't think a bomb was needed.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, all 4 scenarios that we've got, you don't need to deploy close for any of them. None of them they're all back 12. If at all, if you deploy, or if you even deploy on the board, right? So I thought, with that being the case, the bomb probably would be good in Whole Ground, but again, it's game 1, so do I really need it? If not necessarily.
Also, with the the armies you're probably going to face, it very much favours magic, and Assault and Lothlorien and a bomb is not particularly efficient or effective into those lists, whereas the 2 ballistas are.
Yeah, agreed. Obviously for Fog, it's not great because I've got so many squishy targets, but at the same time, that's what I've got the drummer there to get hopefully my terrain piece. Got plenty of models. I can shoot again. So I think I should hopefully do okay. The only one thing I was querying, which you guys might be able to add your input, is that I've only taken 1 Crabane, but you could argue maybe 2 8 20 might have been an idea.
Well, they do increase the movability of a list by
absolutely
an insane amount, as we know. So
I think with the drummer you'll get away with it because your actual troops will be far more flexible.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought if there's quite a fair bit of blinding light or shadow lords or whatever else there might be, drummer will be great just to get my army there before I get shot by whatever.
And would you have still got up to 48 models if you took a second Crabane? No.
Well, I probably wouldn't have the drummer then. So I probably would have had.
You're saying you just swap.
But then the problem is I would have had 15 points spare to do what with? Probably just.
I'm surprised we haven't seen this before. I quite like it because obviously with the maneuverability of crossbows being quite bad, the ability to actually get that extra movement and then stop, then move again, then stop.
Great. Yeah,
it does make up for it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's actually my thinking.
The ability to move your entire army 12 inches is massive.
Yeah,
makes such a difference. Being able to march and drum, to move the entire force is so good.
Has only Lurtz got March here though?
No, Rasku's got March as well.
Rasku's got it. I thought it was Lurtz that had it, or is that wrong?
So hypothetically, Recon, you come on second turn, I march and drum. I'm already halfway across the board, nearly anyway, and then I could just sit there and shoot if should I want to.
Yeah, with a insane amount of shooting. So
yeah.
A little bit different, but
who's your Gorolf sponsor and Crabane sponsor? Because I'm not going. And usually,
you know what? That's a good shout. I actually haven't sorted out who's going to source my Gorolf for me.
So if anyone is going to the great battle of our time and can help out,
2 pikes, a banner, Gorolf, and a tree.
No, would you believe? One of our viewers, Camille Demansky, is frantically painting up about 6 models for me just for this weekend.
Shout out Camille, who'll be listening to this. Shout out Camille.
Sorry that.
Love that.
But yeah, obviously, I don't think Lutz is the best leader to have 820 with the amount of magic that'll be prevalent, but I don't think I need a solid leader. I think the troops and just the flexibility and versatility of the list should hopefully be sufficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, strong list.
It's such a bad lead, you can always just hide him at the back.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
The
true.
most valuable thing is to keep the VP safe
Yeah.
and actually impacting the game. It's a might for a march. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll leave it there for Jay's list, and we will move on to something a little bit old, stale, perhaps some people might say, but Adam has done a slightly different twist on it compared to Ashley Walker. But for the Spotify listeners, there are two Witch King Suladan lists on the screen. One of them is Adam's, and the other is Ash's. So, would you like to run through yours, Adam, and I will run through Ash's?
We'll start with Ash because it's classic, isn't it?
Sure. Okay. So it's Witch King Suladan. I mean, I guess at this point, I think people know what sort of the lists are. It's Witch King, Mouth of Sauron, and then Suladan. That's Ash's three core components. But he's got the Shadow Lord at 820, and then Trackers, Black Nuns, Morannons. That's all he's got. And then 3 Serpent Riders, the Ashley Walker staple. And Adam, what are the differences in yours?
So I've actually gone for what I used to take like at the beginning of when I started playing, which is Witch King, Gurrit, Shagrat, and Suladan.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know all of us have said it, all of us who are taking boring lists, which is 3/5 of us. Actually, I don't know what yours is, Ben. Yours might be boring as well.
I'm not coming.
He's not going
I'm
to
playing
again.
Army of Battle this weekend, though. Just at Warhammer World.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah. So look, it's the last time, it's the last hurrah, isn't it? And it deserves a little showing after all the happiness it's given all of the gamers the last couple of years. And just gonna keep those frowns upside down for another weekend, aren't we?
He's flying all the way over from Spain, which we didn't mention, but to just ruin someone's day with the Witch King.
Oh. No. It'll be I'll give him a chance to resist the compel before I go with Shagrat.
Right, before you murk the leader. Yeah. Gotcha. And I mean, compared to Ashes, like you've got a Raider in there that he doesn't have. You've got a couple extra will on your Witch King. Those are the only other differences, I think, apart from the heroes. Have you got the same amount of nums? I think you've got more nums.
Yeah, one more.
Is it just one more? Okay. Yeah, and then obviously the heroes.
How many models in yours, Adam?
I don't know. It's either 46 or 48. I can't remember.
27, 38, 42 plus 4, 46.
46. And Ashes is 44.
Yeah, I played against Ash's list on Sunday. Was it Sunday? No, Friday. Sorry. And I said to him, Adam's list feels more like a list that Ash would take, and the list Ash is taking feels more like a farmer list.
With the Shadow Lord.
And with how he's built it, with the 6 Horde trackers there.
Yeah.
Ash was saying to me that he kind of wishes he took 2 Fate on his Witch King. But I don't know what he would have got.
He's been doing that for a lot lately. I guess he just thought with how high the points were that, he wanted the extra security.
Yeah.
No. How do we think it does with the scenarios, the confirmed ones? Any sort of weaknesses or anything, or
pretty good?
I'd say not struggle with.
I think a reason Ash said about taking the Shadow Lord because
I didn't want to get shot anymore.
The biggest weakness for this would be a list like Jay's, and I would assume now he's seen Jay's, he's happy that he's taken the Shadow Lord.
Yeah.
And as well as with double or with bombs being prevalent at the moment, he wanted double compel for if people take 2 bombs, for example, which makes sense. But
yeah, because Rawson's been taking it a lot as well. So
yeah, I think
I took it. I'm the one that did well with it. It wasn't really at the end.
We're giving you your flowers, Ben.
Yeah, thank you.
Your scenario is good for it, I'd say. Maybe I would say Fog is the worst one, but Fog's pretty good. He's still Goetz is the easiest one to kill for Thingy for Adams, and then I guess the mouth for Ashes.
Yeah.
It's super strong. Realistically, they do well.
He just Ash just knew that the inevitable matchup against Jay was coming at some point in the tournament. So
yeah,
round 3, round 4 is always when me and Ash play.
Jay lives
final game.
Ash lives. Jay lives rent free in Ash's head. You can tell why.
You can literally see it in his list. Yeah, so
I've done dirty things to that man on the tabletop. Clearly, to make him changes
on the tabletop.
Yeah, just on the tabletop to keep it PG for our viewers, right, listeners.
Love that. All right, well, we will keep it PG then, and we will move on from the Witch King Celadon lists to James Goebbels, Numenor Rivendell Last Alliance combination. So we've seen this many times before as well. I'm not sure if we've seen this exact combination with Elendil and the other heroes. No. So it is led by Elendil on horse, no shield, leading 4 warriors of Numenor with shield, 7 with spear and shield, 4 with bone spear, and 1 with banner, spear, and shield. Then he has a captain of Numenor on horse with lance and shield, no heavy armor. Then from Rivendell, he has Eristor leading 3 high warriors with shield, 5 with spear shield, 3 with bone spear, and 1 Riv knight with shield. And the Círdan leading 1 with shield, 2 with spear shield, 1 with bone spear, and another Riv knight with shield. So 37 models, 10 bows, and obviously he's got the binding light as well, which is great, and 8 might. So we've seen him obviously take all these different heroes, but not these same 3 together, because I guess usually he'd have a Isildur where Elendil is, but with the extra 20 points, he's managed to fit in Elendil, but obviously he's had to drop the shield, so some sacrifices, and obviously the armor on the captain, but he has managed to fit it in. So what do we think?
Normally,
I'm not sure why you'd not take a shield on Elendil.
Well, that's just the points. But
I mean, as great as he is,
models, don't know.
But it goes back to what we were saying about your list, Eliott, right? Odd and even thing, like, hasn't actually affected his breakpoint. Do you know what I mean? There's 36, 37 models. Yeah. Elendil, as great as he is, and he can be completely unstoppable, you could also gank him in a turn. And D7 to D8 is such a big difference. Yeah, I think.
Where with my list, like, I'm not sure how much of a boost I get from dropping down to 44 models and adding in something. I'm not sure what that would be, but with James's list, there's maybe some clear things that you would want to add in.
Agreed. No, agreed.
Maybe, I don't know.
Other than the lack of shield, I think it's really solid.
Yeah,
I'd say it's solid, but it's weak for the scenarios because there's so much maneuvering scenarios. With destroyed supplies and recon, it's not the quickest army in the world, and there are faster around.
He's got the captain, obviously, but you spend 2 points of might. Say on a march, you've got 6 might left. Obviously, James, like, he doesn't need to call very many moves like at all with this list. But obviously 6 might just isn't. You've got the free combat, so you're not having to spend it on damage output really. But
you'd argue probably saving Elendil's might to either strike or boost up your rolls, right?
Yeah,
you need to.
So then you've got what? So if you march twice, then you got 3 points of might left with Eristor and Círdan in the line.
I think whole ground wouldn't be great, but the fact that scenario 1 again should be fine, because again that could go quite wrong. But I do agree with Ben. Maybe for scenarios, the lack of maneuverability and speed.
Yeah, if we knew it was like to the death and assassination coming up, that'd be much better. And domination, that'd be a much better list for those scenarios. But because it's recon, destroyed supplies, the fact like Jay's put a drummer in for that precise reason that he's going to have to move his army pretty fast, pretty quickly. You've got a lot of AoL with all the spiders and the bats for the same reason. With the Witch Kings, again, they can move that speed because they've got all that compel to bring stuff forwards and move things away. And the Dragon Emperor can do the same thing. So it's just not quite fast enough, I would say, for the particular scenarios that are coming.
Yeah. I mean,
arguably, there's only... Sorry, Eliott.
No, I was going to say, the fact he's got the 37 model still is fairly high when you have got Elendil in there with the other 3 heroes. Obviously, 37 doesn't seem that high, but with the heroes, it's a pretty decent place for him to be. I mean, James has played with a lot less and done very well. So
Yeah, I played against this and it's pretty good, like really good.
well, you did play against this, didn't you? You practiced the other day.
Yeah, I played against James. It was I took a list that I'm not using for this event, but
Oh, this was that game.
yeah, but James, I mean, it was probably the most one-sided game I've ever seen, and it was so hilarious. But I mean, he basically dropped down to originally he had 39 models, I think it was. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, but he wanted a second Riv Knight, so you have two Riv Knights, a Lendo, and the Captain that do give you the maneuverability you kind of need. Admittedly,
For
Recon
recon, yeah.
is still it's still one of the worst scenarios, admittedly. But depending, like with the four AoLs, that's obviously a bad scenario.
Yeah, you're going to struggle to
Bad
stop.
matchup.
Yeah.
But with how many people are at the event, I think a normal, a more standard list that you'll see, I think, or that you're more likely to play against, I think James will be fine in against.
Yeah.
Fog is really good for this list. It does outshoot a lot because
Oh, yeah.
when you play against Blind Light, because of the reroll to hit for the Riverdale army bonus, you just hit more than most other people,
Yeah.
like in general. And yeah, Elendil is to like you compare Elendil to Vince's idea of Dane plus Tom Bombadil, and Elendil is still better than those two heroes together.
Combined.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
it's good. It's super solid. And Vince has influenced this list because Vince put in the chat about taking your horse on the captain, and as you can see, James has done that.
Was he
So
on foot before?
he was on foot before.
Was he on foot?
So has Vince influence as well. So
See.
James does well. Vince can claim
Yeah.
his win as well.
Jay, you were going to say something before, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was about to say. So the captain's great, but when he loses his horse, you can pretty much just ignore him. So for me, there's going to be quite a fair bit of magic. We already know Ash is taking three casters. You just target Elendil all game, and effectively with three casters or even two casters, you're probably going to either whittle him down of all his might and will after turn 2 or turn 3, and then thereafter, even with Fortify, he's probably not going to do very much. Like, he's not going to get his points back, and there's no other real viable targets you'd really want to magic out the game. So I think if you can stop Elendil, I think the list isn't going to do as much as what James wants. Although, just want to point out, James has used this list many times and done really well with it.
No.
But yeah, just not convinced this time.
It's like a 4 and 2 list, I would say.
I think as long as he doesn't get his worst matchup in Recon, i.e. AoL, or something that has, outrageous amounts of maneuverability kind of thing, and maybe supplies as well. I guess he hopes he gets more of just a regular looking list compared in supplies than an AoL or something. I think he'll do really well, personally.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think James actually done a bad performance with a list like this year. I think he's done top 10 minimum every event.
Yeah. He's used it a hell of a lot, as our viewers.
I'm gonna back him.
Yeah. So
yeah, 100%. I take back everything I said. I'm going to back him to the podium.
Back the boy. Shout out, James. Okay. So we will move on from his last alliance list to Sam's.
Nice.
5 armies, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got Thorin, King Under the Mountain from Erebor Acclaimed on War Goat, and he is leading 12 Iron Hills with Shield. Then I've got the Halls of Thranduil side with Legolas on horse, 1 elf with shield, 2 elves with bow and glaive, 1 elf banner, 2 cav and a sentinel. And then I've got the Survivors of Lake Town, Gandalf the Grey on horse, 5 Lake Town militia with bow and spear, a captain with no shield, 10 militia with spear, 1 with shield spear and 1 with bow spear. So 40 models in total, 10 bows, and then the 11 might. So I've played this before, kind of similar. I didn't really know what to take to this event, and I tried out other lists and they weren't, you know, weren't drawing to me. Like
You didn't
I
fancy the Khazad-dûm, no? That wasn't.
not with those scenarios, no, not for me. I tried a Spider Queen list against James, and I'd beaten him, but it was in recon, so it's one of those. It still didn't feel strong enough. I don't know. Um, and I tried another list which had Thranduil and a Palace Guard captain with Gandalf, and um, again, it felt like it just lacked. It felt like there was one piece of the puzzle missing. So I ended up with this. This is what I played Ash with, and felt strong.
Now, I thought you had gone on record as saying that you don't like Gandalf the Grey, that he just never does enough.
From
He always fluffs. We've heard that story before, but here you are taking him to a.
He's so inconsistent for me.
That's it.
I played James. Genuinely, he probably is the worst model I've ever seen. Maybe worth 10 points. Not even joking. I think he cast one spell and I'd spend 2 might.
Classic Gandalf.
Yeah, I play against Ash on Friday. He's probably worth about 300 points at how well that man performed.
No.
So it's just, it happens. And
roundabouts, yeah.
I'm hoping that he does well. He's great for recon. There's a lot of defensive capability of this list when it comes to recon with Sorcerer's Blast, Legolas. It's good for fog with those two as well, with 2+ and again Sorcerer's Blast. And then Thorin, the Witch Kings with hurting his goat can be a problem.
Yeah.
But like Protection of the Valar is very, very good. I had used that against Ash on Friday and it worked down a treat, and he with his triple wraith with a triple caster, he's couldn't do anything. Thorin just goes and kills 4 for free, and it's just it's hard to deal with. As well as strength and will. Like if you play against these ones in these scenarios where you deploy far away, and say if you don't cast, you don't need to cast Blind Light or something, or maybe you cast it first spell. Just strengthening will Gandalf so that he becomes more reliable when you throw more dice is so good, so good. So to be honest, I don't know how well this will do. I think it's a strong list. It's not like a powerhouse list that's gonna, absolutely demolish everything. But I think if played well, stuff goes my way, it'll be good.
Yeah. You've used things like this a fair amount now as well, haven't you? So you sort of know what you're doing with it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Fair amount. So yeah. Any thoughts from anyone on this one before we move on?
I think you got a lot of tools. It's quite nice.
Hey, like you've got the Sentinel and you've still hit the 40 models. Not too many elves, but like you can only fit so much in while keeping the Sentinel. Obviously, Gandalf's very pricey, so not too much fight 5, but you've still got a lot of fight 4 in the dwarves.
Yeah, two elves with the Glavers is good for putting behind a 5/5 hero that's in combat. Getting the Elven Blade roll off, as well as like a Sentinel plus Gandalf is so good. Okay, I'm going to Sentinel that tracker. I'm then going to move him in front of your Witch King, and then I'm going to blast the tracker and dismount your Witch King. It's just so handy. And it was basically a Sentinel or taking, because I wanted Orcrist on Thorin, but you have to choose one or the other. Like it just wasn't possible.
Yeah, the Sentinel's going to get you.
Yeah,
more every game.
Yeah.
Only downside, Sam, is you do that little trick you just said, and then Gandalf whiffs the blast, right?
Yeah.
But like, I was. I'll just try one blast dice on the Mouth Sauron at 6. Oh, nice. Ash's Mouth Sauron's off. Oh, yeah, I'll do this. 1 dice, 6. I'm like, oh, God, Gandalf, go in, mate.
Come on.
2 dice
You
goes
did
off.
the Ashley Wardress. Wardress.
Yeah, it was so
not
hard.
very happy with that.
Genuinely, Ash was so excited to play because he hasn't played, I think it was in like nearly 3 months or 2.5 months.
Yeah, since
any games whatsoever. And he was so happy to play. And we played Recon. Genuinely, I had 25% of him and he killed 5 models. And I'm not even exaggerating. He killed just 5. And his everything about him went so depressed and he was so miserable. And I felt really bad because he was so happy to start rolling dice again.
Oh dear.
He thinks that his bad luck's all out of the way now, so
Gotcha.
he's gonna win the event
He'll
essentially.
win the event. Love it. Not if he plays you though.
No, he'll get his comeuppance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that will do it for Sam's themey Battle of Five Armies list here. Love that from you. So let's take a look at the tier list. Now, just to continue on the Ashley Walker hate train here this evening of the Spotify listeners, he is the bottom category yet again. He is going to be very upset at this, but we weren't sure what else to put as the bottom category. He was already in there.
It should be Tom Bombadil. Now I realise that Vince has taken that again.
Well, maybe it could have been Tom Bombadil, but I prefer that it's Ash. We'll leave it as Ash for now. Maybe next time it'll be Tom. But let's get onto the tier list. So let's start with Ash's list and Adam's as well, since Adam is at the front. Witch King Sully? Where's it going?
Is it nervous?
Scenarios?
Silly nervous for both.
To go silly nervous.
But I think
it's 2024 Ashes, so it needs to go. Ashes needs to go in Ashes, doesn't it? Because it's 2024 Ash, and then Adams can go in silly nervous. Yeah, that looks right.
And then you remember that Ash took the Shadow Lord, so he immediately gets bumped up.
Yeah, he won't be happy if he's down there. He won't be happy.
I think Ash. Sorry, Adam. I think Ash's one is probably a little bit better than yours. I think personally.
Are we in agreement on
that? I think the triple magic.
Yeah.
I just think
it's better.
Just a little bit more about it.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think it's
not the
magic.
Not the better player though, Adam.
Oh, yeah, thanks, mate. I think it's actually more that the Shadow Lord. I think I could have one or two bad matchups that the Shadow Lord could have helped me with.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you play Jay, for example, that's good.
If I play Jay, then I go and play Rawson. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't actually explain, but for any Spotify listeners who have not listened to the podcast before, to just explain how our tier list works. So if you are the very best list in our tier list, you are looking to be in our lemon categories. That's the very top tier. And then descending down from there, our categories are named silly nervous, nervous, dog, and this week, Ashley Walker. So put the two Witch King Silver Down lists in silly nervous. And we'll move on to my Dragon Emperor list. What do we think on this one?
I'm inclined to say that because of scenarios, I'll put it above.
Above in silly nervous?
Just for scenarios.
What do you guys think?
I think in between Ash and Adams.
Should we sandwich them in the middle?
I think it's better than Ashes.
Okay, so Ben and Sam think it's higher. Adam, you are the deciding vote.
Jay, you think there's that much difference between mine and?
maybe I'm biased. I think maybe I'm just tailoring it to what I'd prefer to play against personally, and I don't think I'd want to play Ashes just because of the Shadow Lord.
Yeah. For your list, it does make a difference.
Yeah.
I think this list is really good. I don't know. There's just something I don't like about it. I don't know what it is.
The centerpiece.
Oh, wait, my list.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a really good list, but there's just something that smells a bit off.
It's because the black dragon. It's because the Eastling Bowmen aren't black dragons. I was thinking the same thing. It's just the proportions are off.
That's it. It's definitely the Bowman.
That's it. Okay, so maybe you should go underneath one. It should go. Where should we put it? We'll put it in the middle. We'll sandwich it in between the two. It's around the top of the nervous.
Thanks, mate.
So we'll leave it there.
Just leave it there.
We'll leave it there. We will
just
not
put every list between mine and Ash's. Just elongate.
Well, let's move on to Jay's list then, which may go in between the two.
So Jay's list beats mine, but it loses to Ash. Therefore, it's between me and Ash.
I see. So it's going to go between the two, yeah. Where do we think it goes? Is it above all of them? I think it might be above all of them. I think it's
the best list.
I think it's above all of them.
I think it's a lemon.
Ooh, really?
Lemon? Yeah. It goes quite nicely into everything but Blinding Light. And I think if Jay kind of wins his first 2-3 games, he's then probably playing players that don't have Blinding Light.
Interesting.
And then suddenly strength 4 goes quite nicely into AoL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you guys think it goes up in lemon? Does it make it up there?
Yeah. This could easily go 5 and 1.
Sam, Adam, what do you think?
I'm not opposed to it being in lemon, but it would be like the bottom of lemon. Like,
So,
yeah.
like it's obviously really good, but I don't know. Just maybe I'm just ready for a new edition. I think it's a
Because
really good list.
we need a new edition because this army is very lemon.
It is good, like very good.
This is a very good army, and if we don't put it in lemon, we're just going to end up with 5 or 6
Let's
armies
put it
all
in
in silly
lemon.
nervous.
Let's get Jay
So
up
it has to
there.
go in lemon because it's the best.
Go on,
we've got.
Jay.
I've not had a podium in months. Yeah,
I mean, you've not played him, Bobs.
He's due.
Yeah.
We need to pick him up.
As long as you don't come back to form like Ash with your 5 kills in one game.
Yeah, then you'll be fine. Okay, we'll put it in lemon. We'll leave it there. We will not move on to Ben. We will move on to Sam's Battle of 5 Armies list.
I would say below Adams. I think
it's a silly nervous list. I think.
Yeah.
Is it worse than Witch King Sully? Probably in like every scenario.
Yeah,
I think I agree with Ben. I think below Adams.
Below Adams? Is that
yeah.
Adam,
I just think if Sam, if you get a bad game or a bad round and your dwarves, you lose quite a fair few dwarves. Once you're into the Lake Town, it could all go quite wrong.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that position. It's not a powerhouse list to the same extent as the others.
The others are.
And as you said, you're reliant on Wizard Whiffy, not Whiffin.
Yeah, basically.
Wizard Whiffy. Adam, are you happy with that? Where it's at?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good list.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And we move on to the final list. James's Last Alliance.
You missed Vince.
We've got one more list.
We've got the best one to vote.
Oh, sorry, Vince's. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Sorry, let's do Vince now. Sorry, I completely forgot. Vince's Halls of Thranduil, Iron Hills, and Wanderers of the Wild.
I'd say it has to go. Maybe I have to curb my expectations a little bit here. I think we'd have to put it at the bottom of lemon.
That's your curbing your expectations. Adam.
No, in all seriousness, I think it's top of nervous.
Yeah, I think those three tiers are looking a little bit bare, don't you?
Yes.
I was going to say dog. I was going to say dog. I don't think it's quite
bad. It's not a bad bit.
I think dog.
Jay's licking his lips.
In a 2-hour 15 game, it's gonna get turns.
Yeah, but
in 2015, the army's going to be wiped.
Yeah, 34 models.
I see this as 3 and 3 personally, and that would warrant it bang in the middle of nervous.
That is not how many times have we been over this?
If you keep saying it enough, it becomes fact.
Yeah, and we changed how the tier system works every time. Anyway,
it's a 3 and 3 list.
I will not allow this.
The 3 and 3 list, so it's in nervous in the middle.
Do we think nervous? Surely it's not dog, right? Come on, Vince is coming off of a GBHL 100 podium. This man is gunning for it.
Realistically, it's a fight 5. It's a fight 5 D7 line that has a good hero and to kill and Legolas. And if some lists don't have enough to kill that, then he will just win or have any tricks or they don't know how to play against it. Vince will just win. But yeah, there's not that people do know how to play against it. I would hope at least.
We'll leave it nervous. It seems like a good place for it to be, but we'll see how it gets on with it. Okay, and finally, James's Last Alliance. Where does it go?
I think this is nervous, but then I look at Vince's list nervous, and I don't agree that the two are on the same level.
I think Vince's list needs to go down.
Yeah, I agree.
In our next one, when we do imps, mine will be getting put in dog. So I would like some.
You don't feel bad, pass some judgment. Do we need to space them out like this? Because I guess if we put Vince in nervous and James up there, I mean, James's list could just sneak in C nervous.
I think what Ben said about scenarios, I don't think it should be silly nervous just because of the scenarios that we know.
Scenarios. I think when you look
that reason,
when you look at
the list itself, agreed.
It does go up there, yeah, but maybe scenarios, maybe it's not. Are we in agreement on that?
Sam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I would put it in silly nervous personally.
You would, okay.
Yeah.
Adam, what do you think?
I'd say it's in nervous. I just feel like it doesn't have enough models, but I think James is the epitome of knowing his list inside out. So
he does actually.
But
are we looking at the list for the player's capability? Yeah.
This goes 4-2, I think.
I think so as well.
Agreed.
So maybe it does go up in 6.
But I can't see it doing any better than 4-2, and that's the problem.
That's why it's there.
Yeah, I think you're probably at the bottom of silly nervous if you're a 4-2 list. Yeah.
Eliott, I thought you said it wasn't how it works with 4 and 2 and 3.
Yeah.
No, but I'm not saying that is the 4 and 2 category. It feels
that is the 4 and 2 category. The bottom of it is like scraping all 4 and 2. Okay,
King Sully isn't 4 and 2, is it?
Yeah, but that's like the high 4 and 2. High VP.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, the bottom end is
Yeah, but it's basically the 4 and 2 category. Has a weakness.
I think it does make it in there. I think maybe. I'm happy with it there. James used it a lot. You guys are 2-2 on the boat, so
I wouldn't be surprised if
I'll leave it there.
I wouldn't be opposed to swapping James and me round.
Yeah, you think you two are sort of at the lower end?
Yeah.
There's not much in it.
Like, I think they're very similar in the stuff that's bad and is bad for us. The stuff that's good is good for us. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Samuel's is better for the scenario pool.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, with the magic.
Maybe with Legolas and stuff and actual offensive magic, potentially.
How your Gandalf is rolling. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. I think we'll leave it there. And obviously, Ben and Ali are not going to the event. So that is going to do it. That is the tier list. And that is going to close out this preview. So hopefully, we'll bring home some points for the boys, for the team, for the viewers this weekend. So that is going to do it. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching another episode of the Gollum's Gamers podcast.